Alright, this is Peng Golden Run. This is a project I worked on at university, and basically it's a 2.5D platformer built in Unreal Engine 4 and designed for the Android. And basically the idea was to build a 2D game that was easy to control, and you could explore this beautiful little adventure world and collect coins while you did it. So without further ado, we'll jump in. Now hopefully the soundtrack's working correctly this time. I had some issues with that when I was trying to record it initially, but okay, so this is Peng himself, the golden ball, and as you move around and jump, you can move through this 3D looking world in your 2D environment. So as we head through that, you'll notice there's quite a lot of foreground and background objects. Now I chose 2.5D because I wanted the world to look real and have a lot of kind of character to it and a lot of depth. But without kind of compromising the ease of controlling a kind of a 2D game offers you. So as we move through this, you'll see that there's kind of a lot of kind of 3D objects that I've kind of repurposed in this environment, and they all come from a large pack called, I think it's the Ice Flow pack. Something along those lines on the Unreal Marketplace. I got them in one large free pack that was designed for like a large world kind of adventure level of some sort, and I've kind of taken them and rearranged them, and got these huge bits of wall and placed all these objects all over them to kind of make them look like they're their own world. And like one of the things that I picked up was that if you put objects in the foreground and objects in the background kind of out of the way that you couldn't collide with, it gave the world a lot of depth and a lot more kind of feel like you were in this 3D world even though you're still playing a 2D platformer. And that's a trick I picked up from Limbo and I think Ori in the Blind Forest. They do that as well, and even older platformers, to be honest. I think some of the older Mario games and Sonic games would probably use that sort of technique as well. So as we just move through this, there's more in-game sounds. A guy stuck in a well, which does get quiet as we move away. We're going to leave him to that, and continue through the level, collecting these coins that I guess will have a purpose at the bar when we get there, as that is the end goal of this technical demo that I've made as a project for university. We're just entering my favourite part of the game now, actually, which is this this whole section was really fun to design, and just like to make it look good and have this feel of a real world that you were looking at. So like there's kind of these structures in the background that suggest that there's maybe some sort of mining going on, and although there isn't really an explanation for these floating platforms, I did spend a long time arranging them to make sure that the jumps felt good, and that things weren't kind of interfering with my my character moving around when they shouldn't be. And obviously you've got to kind of solve the puzzle of going the long way around to reach here, instead of there isn't really a shortcut that you can get up there. And again, like these were just hills. I've had to put all these like little bridges and like panels on them, and that like rib cage in the background there. And this was something I really enjoyed doing, was putting trees very close to the camera. It gives you a real like much larger sense of depth and scale in everything. And if we just wander around through to the top of this platform, I reckon is the optimal route for the best view. There's obviously two routes through this section. You can either go the bottom way or the top way, or turn back on yourself and go through both. And this, obviously, all these wooden panels were all put together by myself from the assets that I was given from that pack. So creating this section, for example, making this all look like it had collapsed and everything was a real interesting aspect to give it all the extra depth that I wanted this game to have in its feel. I also went with the kind of the cool hip hop sound because I wanted the game to have this sort of chilled kind of cool vibe, if that makes sense. I mean, obviously it's a dumb joke, they go together like that, but I don't know, this soundtrack really, when I found this song, I thought it fit really well with the environments I was creating, and just had this kind of this low rider chill feel at the same time as being kind of icy, so we'll just teleport through these rocks, and yeah, the soundtrack was actually, they were all free online, copyright-free tracks that producers have made and put up for free copyright, and I did credit them in the original work, although I can't recall their names right now. And this section's great. I really enjoyed building this with the trees in the foreground, and then trying to make this section up here work in front of this minecart track in the background there. If I just keep advancing through the level. Making this work in a 2D environment was difficult because it is essentially a 3D asset that you would navigate in a 3D game, and trying to produce a single navigable 2D path through this 3D environment was definitely a challenge. But with that, that's the end of the game. We've reached the bar where I guess we spend our coins, and just thanks very much for watching. Cheers.